Hello everyone, we are the Group H of Best IT3A. This is our presentation in the game we made based on the activity that been posted to our LMS. We have here the Happy Garden. The main goal of the game is to wilted all the flowers. If any flower remains wilted for more than 10 seconds, the game ends. But if the garden is happy for more than 15 seconds, one of the flowers mutates into a fang flower and tries to sap the cow. Before we go to the code, we need to download first the images that will be used to the game. I have here the downloaded file of the game. Okay, let's proceed to the code. We have here the import PGC run at the first line to start the whole game. This line of code from random import randint. This imports the randint function from Python's random module. Let's define the size of the game windows by putting value to the width to 800 and height to 600. This game over to fangflower collision. These lines of code are flag variables, which let you know what's happening in the game. In this time elapse, these variables help keep track of the time. Also in this cow actor line, to start with, the only actor in the game is the cow. Type the code shown in black to add the cow and set its starting position. In cow.pose is equals to 100 and 500, these values set the cow's starting position on the screen. Flowers and fangflowers are generated at random as the game progresses. In the list flower list, each time a new flower actor is created, it gets added to this list. And in wilted list, this list will store how long a flower has been wilted. On the other hand, fangflower list, this list will store the fangflowers actors. In this game, you need to pay special attention to the sapping fangflowers. You will need to make them move around the garden. They also need to bounce off the edges of the game window so that they are always on the screen. In this line of code, fangflower VI list, this will hold the velocities of the fangflowers along the y-axis. And on the other hand, the next line fangflower VX list, this will hold the velocities of the fangflowers along the y-axis. This will hold the velocities of the fangflowers along the x-axis. Now let's set up those variables to draw the garden and the cow by using this block of codes. There are no flowers or fangflowers to draw yet, but add the code that will draw them when they're generated. Code.draw function, this code draws the cow on the screen. In this code flower.draw function, this code will draw all the flowers. In the fangflower.draw function, this will draw all the fangflowers. And lastly, the code time elapse is equals to int time, that time function. This code check how long the game has been running for, and else to know that the game is over if the flowers have been wilted for too long. In this code, screen.draw.text, this line displays a message to show how long the garden has been happy. And in screen.draw.text, garden and happy to game over, color black, this displays a message that tells the player the game is over, and else if the garden is still happy but the cow has been sapped. In screen.draw.text, fangflower attack, game over, color black, this draws a message on the screen to show the game is over because of the fangflower attack. And in finalize is equals to true, this makes sure the code is not running again. Let's go now to the def new flower function, block of codes. In this global flower list, wilted list, these are the global variables this function uses. And in the flower new is equals to actor flower, this line creates a new flower actor. And in the next line, flower that new that post that equals to randint function with the value of 50 with 50 randint 150 height 100. This line set the position of the new flower. The next line is the flower list. Append flower new. This adds the new flower to the list of flowers. And lastly, wilted list that append happy. This lets the program know that the flower is not wilted. Let's now add more flowers by using def add flowers function. This new flower function, this line calls the new flower function to create a new flower. And in clock the schedule add flowers for, this adds a new flower every 4 seconds.
The next is check wilt time function. This function checks if any of the flowers has been wilted for more than 10 seconds. If one has, the garden is unhappy, and the game is over. Next is wilt flower function. This function that will wilt a random flower every 3 seconds. The cow will have to dash to the wilted flower to water it. This function checks flower at this index is wilted or not. Also, this sets the flower image to a wilted flower image. Also, this contains clock.schedule function. This is schedule another call to wilt flower function in 3 seconds. Another function is the check flower collision. This block of code checks if the cow is near a flower when the spacebar is pressed. Also, we add built-in colliderect function to check if a flower and the cow have collided or are next to each other. Another function is the check pang flower collision. This code that will check if a pang flower has caught up with the cow to sap it. The next one is we add the velocity. This code that generates.
Next is mutate function. This function is used to turn the flowers into a carnivorous fang flowers. Inside this function, it declares the global variables needed. It also checks if there are still flowers left to mutate. It also schedules a call to mutate a flower every 20 seconds. Next is the update fang flowers function. It used to make fang flowers to start moving. It will also keep the fang flowers inside the garden by making them bounce off the edges of the game screen. Next is reset cow function. Inside this function, it changed the cow's image back to the original one as long as the game is not over yet. Next is we invoke the add flowers wilt flower function. Last function is the update function. This function starts the whole mutation process if the garden has been happy for more than 15 seconds. The last condition in this function checks if the garden has been happy for more than 15 seconds and if any fang flowers have been appeared on the screen yet. If yes, then mutate a flower into a fang flower. Now let's play the happy garden.